Hey guys, thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Excel Man. My name is Alex. I will help you further your Excel skills. I got 10 plus years of experience under my belt working in complex financial models, and I will bring to you the tricks of the trades that you won't get from anywhere else. What we're going to do today is talk about dashboards, and we're going to do it in a way that's user friendly with some keyboard shortcuts and allows you to change your dashboard as your data updates. So stay tuned and we'll tell you how to get this done. Okay, so you're given a set of data and you're asked to create some kind of tracking where it's more visual or whatever your case might be. It might be a personal budget, it might be sales numbers, it might be a personal small business, and you want to track this stuff, but you want to visualize it. So you're given this raw data. Now I kind of made this into more visually appeasing one. But let me show you how I do that. So let's take all the borders out. Let's take the colors out. Well, we'll leave the colors in. I mean, I typically like to choose something a little bit more brighter myself, but typically the rule that I've learned is the title gets a more darker color and the data gets more lighter colored, and you can just play around with whatever suits your fancy. Typically, what you would get in any kind of situation is a very dark color, something along the line of like a dark, I don't know, blue. And then over here, you get a gray. Typically, gray indicates data changes, but let's just stick with what we got. And I added a little bit of flair to it, which is I created borders by calling all this out, changed the color borders to white, and then made them thicker. So in that way, then it just looks more a little bit appealing. Also, you have data. Typically, you get this in any kind of information that you're tracking. You're a small business and you're selling products, or you have a sales team and you want to figure out what their sales numbers are. It's just unit sold, unit price, total sales. And you want to formulate this because this might change. So just copying this stuff down, Control C, Shift down, Control V. Now, if in the future you want to change this to $25, it changes with you. So now what we want to do is we want to make this into a dashboard. I want to make it more presentable, and we want to copy the dashboard if we want into a slide deck or send this over to someone. So the first thing you want to do is create a pivot table. The way to do that is a couple of ways, but the way that I like to do is creating a keyboard shortcut. And anytime you want to create a keyboard shortcut or look at the keyboard shortcuts that are available, you press the Alt button. Now, pivot is in the index tab, which is an N, and then a V, and from table image is an external. So now you have this highlighted. Usually it does highlight, but if it doesn't, you want to make sure you get the title. I usually like to do a new worksheet. Some people like to do existing, but new creates just more cleaner response. So now we're in a new one. So we want to copy a couple versions of this because we want to see region. You want to see by region, by sales rep, and by product. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to say region. Region is going to go into your row. And then let's say product is going to go into your column. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the product out and then do total sales. So now you have total sales by region. But that's not all we want. So we want to do a couple of these. And quickest way to create multiple pivots in one worksheet is just copy and paste. So Control C. I usually like to go about three cells down, Control V. And then we want to take region out. So click and drag. And then we want to put product. And then now we're going to do the same thing. Do Control V. And then Control C, Control V, copy and paste. And then on this one, we're going to take products out, and then we're going to put sales rep. So now we have three different data variations. Now, since these are total sales, we're going to change the format to make sure it matches $sign. I do like to take the cents out, so do that. Also, if you're trying to highlight multiple rows without and having space, what you can do, a quick shortcut is press Control, highlight, yeah, press Control. Oh my God. Highlight, Control, and Control again. So now these are highlighted together. So if you want to change the format of anything, you can do that. So Control, but highlight first. Highlight, and if you want to go somewhere, Control, hold down Control and then click. Anyway, so now we have the data in the format that we want, and we have it in the pivot that we want. And so we're going to change the tab name. Shortcut to changing a tab name is Control HOR. So that will give you tab name, and we're going to name this pivot. Okay. So now what we're going to do now is create a dashboard. Dashboards usually are more intricate and more detailed, but first we're just going to give you a rough idea on how to take the pivot and create the top portion. Usually the top portion of the dashboard is more graphical, and then the rest are numeric. But let's show you how that works. So the first thing you want to do is figure out which data you're going to use, and we're just going to start from the top. Highlight, and then go to your Insert tab, and then do Chart. Now, since this is a binary information, so you have, region and you have sales, I usually like to just stick with the bar chart. And that seems a little bit more, user-friendly, clear. But we're not going to keep it in the same tab. We're going to open up a third tab, and we'll do is new window view. Let's move this over here. And then we're going to take this data that we had and place it in an open area to make it more user-friendly. So I'll show you how that works in a minute. But first, we're gonna make sure our data is clear. That's by total sales, and that's by region. So we're gonna do the same thing. Okay, so to do it in a separate tab, what you're gonna do is just go to your tab that you're in, click Insert, and then let's pick a different one. Let's do a line. Gonna move this up here. We'll fix this. Select data. Data range is this here, which is your pivot, your second pivot, which has the widgets. Click that, and then there's your data. And we're gonna do the third one, which is, we'll just click Insert, go to whatever chart you feel reasonable. I'm gonna stick with the pie or with the bar charts, and then go where it says chart design, select data, go to the data tab here, or sorry, pivot tab here, click the last section you want, click OK, and now you have a third. Now, you might go and try to, balance this out and bring it close and bring it not. So, but there's a way to do that so that minimizes your error. So click on the first chart, go to design, format, and then you see height and width. I usually just go with 4 and 5. So in that way, then everything is correctly done. There's no issues. Now, you want to make sure this aligns perfectly and the spacing is done accurately. So what you got to do again is collect all the cells. So the way to do that is Control, click on the first one, Control, second one, and third one, and go to Design. Now what you're going to do is you want to make sure that it aligns distributes horizontally. As you can see, it's clear, but you also want to align on the top so that it stays clear on that. Now, I usually like to take the grid lines on the back out if I'm doing something presentable. So the way to do that is just go to your view, and where it says grid lines, take that out. So now you have a skeleton of a dashboard. Now, make sure, especially if you're presenting data, to always clean the data up so it's presentable. So this is a little too busy. Typically, when you show this in a spreadsheet, no one's going to sit there and try to look what line hits what. So what I normally like to do is take out what creates confusion in the eyes, which is the grids. And that way that's more clear. And stick with a neutral color. You can't go wrong with blue, but if you want to change the color, you just go to design, color change, and then there's different varieties. You can go with light green. And we'll stick with that. Change the title. This is gonna say total by region, total by product, and total by rep. Oh, total by sales rep. So this creates the skeleton or the beginning of your pivot. Now you can go in and create whatever numerical numbers you think is relevant, total sales, total costs, expirational costs, whatever you think is reasonable. But here you have an understanding of how this works. Now, the good thing about it is that if you want to change this, so if we go back to your data and say that you changed, and this goes to like 35, or let's make it something dramatic like 50, and you go back to your pivots, or sorry, your pivots, right? And you update your pivot. To update a pivot, click on any one of these, right click, and you see what says refresh. Click on most of these, you'll see that it will refresh. And you go back to your charts, you see that they changed. So this updates every time your data updates. You just gotta make sure that these are formulaic, so it captures, and your pivots are updated each time. So this is a great way to capture all your data and to make sure it's presentable in a visual way as well. If you really like this stuff, please hit that subscribe button, comment, follow, ask questions, whatever you think is reasonable. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video, guys. Have a good one.